Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Punk Rock Underground. It is Brandon, and it is the midday mix here on AMR.FM. We have Aldine in here from Sad State of Society. How you doing?
I'm good. You can call me Al.
Al?
If you want to say it right, it's Aldine.
Aldine?
That's better.
Aldine, like that company off of the Terminator. What was that company called? You know, the ones where the robots took over the world?
Oh, Technodyne.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. That's one of those things that I always laugh about because everyone's got a really cool name. And it's like, how hard is it to mess up my name? My name's Brandon. It's really hard to mess my name up, so I don't ever really have to tell anybody. You're doing it wrong.
It's all good, man. You can call me Al.
Al. Al. I've known you for a while now, Al. It's good to have you in here doing this with us. I mean, you've been so hospitable to us and had so many things that you've helped us out with in the past here. So it's nice to have you here.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Anything to reciprocate, for sure.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on. You're in a band called Sad State of Society. You guys are in the middle of recording some stuff right now. And I've noticed you guys have been doing a lot with the Standing Rock Warrior stuff that was going on.
Yeah, we did some stuff we did a song for the Standing Rock benefit, and that went off pretty well. We ended up inadvertently, us and other folks got together, and we did some shows at Diabolical Records, and I think they raised $3,300 for the cause, for like shoes and warm boots and stuff and blankets and stuff to keep those people on the fight. They're on the front lines of Standing Rock.
Yeah, from what I understand, they're all still kind of posted up out there. There's a handful of people that are sticking with it and kind of following where they're heading for construction now. And a lot of people really aren't talking about where they're heading, but it's not too far away from where they were to begin with. And
it really is, and I don't think the fight is over there all the way. You know, I don't think everything is just conceded and thrown up, and all of a sudden the windows and doors are open, and you know, there's a possibility that it's going to stop for sure. I don't think that's the case right now. I think there's people still there that are really going to be fighting for a while. I mean, there was a leak 150 miles from there.
175,000 gallons of crude oil coming up out of the ground.
And it went into the water. And obviously that's, that's inevitable pretty much with pipelines. They're going to break.
Well, even here in Salt Lake, I mean, it gets skipped over quite a bit, but it's like we've lost sight of some of the things that have happened here locally due to like Chevron's pipelines. Like look at Liberty Park. We had that massive cleanup for a few years out there in just a pond.
Right in our own
river.
City, yeah.
Something that happened on some trail and some pond/river thing that comes off of some of our runoff water. I mean, to think about why would there be a pipeline in this small little ditch to begin with? And let alone have it in an area where it could actually be damaged. To have that type of issue happen in the middle of a city where we're supposed to be like on top of that kind of thing. And
right.
I don't know. I go to Liberty Park all the time, so when they started draining that and all those ducks were all covered in the nasty and stuff for the longest time, and they kept flying into it, and they had all those big trailers out there delivering water, and
it was
cool. Ridiculous.
It was a drag for sure.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's the thing I like about punk rock. A lot of people think about it as just like a messy act of distortion and confusion, when really a lot of it comes with a point and a moral and a purpose that it's coming, and it's trying to, it's a lot of education and a lot of articulation goes into punk rock music that gets overseen.
For me, that's kind of where it's at for me. The punk rock, to me, punk rock is like the Sex Pistols and Discharge and GBH, these kind of bands that came out in the 80s that were not very happy with the situation of things and the state of society and what's going on around them. There's a million topics you can pick and bitch about. They're out there. It's an easy thing. There's a lot of cool other kinds of punk rock, and post-punk and pop-punk and all that stuff. But to me, what I believe is it has that message, and it's us being angry, and it's a discontent kind of thing, and that's what we've been doing for years. In 1983, I started my first really that kind of political kind of punk band here, Maim for Life, and actually right before that, 1982, we had a band called Spencer Kimball and the Brainwashed. It was called Scab, and it was pretty interesting. We had some songs that were calling out Mormon stuff. Spencer Kimball's dying. I don't know what you can say on the radio. Can you?
You can say whatever you want. That's the beauty about internet radio. You can say whatever you want.
So the song about Spencer Kimball was, he's so old he shits his pants, but Spencer Kimball's still their man. The leader of the Mormon faith is still alive, they say, but every time I see him, it looks like he's passed away. North, south, east, or west, where's that bomb gonna blow up the best? We all hope Spencer will be there and blow his wheelchair out of here. And that was one of the songs.
I like that.
So it started, it started a long time ago. It started in 1981 or 80 for me. I heard, actually the winter of 79, I heard Brad Collins on the radio and doing the Behind the Zion Curtain show. And I heard stuff like Zounds and GBH and these bands that have a message, and they're calling out against the government and against atrocities and war, and the young kids going off to war and dying, and the old guys are sitting behind their desks just sending them away, and that kind of greed for power and all that good stuff. And that stuff has never gone away. That stuff is still around. It's still here. In '83, we started a band called Maim for Life, and it was around for 30 years. We came back after 30 years and did some reunion stuff a few years back, and we're together for a few years. And the new band has kind of sprouted from that. It's Travis and I and Travis plays in a band called All Systems Fail that's been around for about 15 years.
I'm familiar with those guys, Derek, and
those guys kill it, man. Those guys have been killing it and screaming out about atrocities for years and years, and they sort of carried a torch that the Maim for Life band set that tone back in the early 80s when those guys were in high school, and they were kids in bands like BFD, Big Fucking Deal, and Buddy Hinton's Revenge, and there was some bands around here that really young bands, and those guys carried on the message that we kind of threw out there. And punk scene here has been great in Utah for a lot of years, really. It's I believe anywhere there's a huge controlling force, that there's going to be a huge, big undercurrent, and people that aren't so happy about all the crap that's going around them. So that's still where it's at. It's not like it's changed any, and there's still stuff to bitch about and scream about and create awareness, and that's what we're still trying to do with the new band, Sad State.
I like that. We're going to take a quick break, and I want to listen to one of your mixes that you sent me. This is the Standing Rock mix, since we were talking about it right here on AMR.FM. Ooh. That was Sad State of Society, Standing Rock. I'm here with Al.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? That's good. That's good. So let's talk a little bit more about what you guys have going on here in the next couple of weeks. I mean, I've noticed that you guys have been on some flyers that I actually happen to have available, posted on the Underground Punk Rock page on Facebook.
Very cool.
But it looks like you guys are playing at the Underground in Salt Lake City, Utah.
We're playing at the Underground. There's it's a protest festival that I set up back in the 1980s. when Ronald Reagan was in command. We did
Ronald Reagan.
We did a Rock Against Reagan, actually, and it was a couple of hippie lawyers. They got the space in front of Symphony Hall. They locked down the space right in front of the big glass window at Symphony Hall, and 3 or 4 punk bands played, and Maim for Life was one of them. And it was actually really cool because at this time they scheduled it for when Ronald Reagan was in town, and he was across the street at what was then the Marriott. It's changed now, but it was a Marriott hotel right across the street, and he was actually there in one of the rooms across the street. And we played, and we were screaming about establishment and government and all that stuff. And then we held. There was one cool thing we did was we held up some signs, some letters. So there was like 20 people in a line, and they held up these letters towards the hotel, and the letters read Ronald Wilson Reagan on the side, the first side, and then they turned the letters, and it said Insane Mongrel Warlord on the other side. So this is something that's been ingrained, and it's been done before. And right now I think there's a call to action that is even more serious than it was at that time. We have the Orange Heresy, Donald Trump that's coming into office, and our system it really sucks how antiquated it is that we can't get people in there that we really want and push them through. And we have to work with a system. That part of it really sucks. I mean, coup d'etat and uproot the system and take over, that's a little far-fetched. So we have to kind of work with what we have, right? So
taking over is only half the battle. We got to have a plan.
Right.
You can't just
you got to have a plan.
Topple the system without some sort
of.
of.
You can talk about it. You can sit back in
coup,
your chair all along and bitch about it, and it's not going to do anything. The only way we can do something is to let know. First of all, we're going to let known that what we're mad about, what we're not so happy about. But this thing is the thing that's coming up is Rock Against Trump and
punks against Pence.
Yeah,
so, I like the play on words.
So the first night is Rock Against Trump, and it's 4 rock bands, and we're going to have some speakers, and it's really cool. I have a show on KRCL, and during the legislative part of the year, which is coming up, we've had all the senators on the show, and I've got to meet them and feel them out. And one of the really cool ones, the coolest one, is Jim DeBacchus.
Yeah,
and he's out there fighting for the causes for the people. He's against the Bears Ears and Standing Rock, which means he's against big oil and those guys coming in and ruining things, which is not where most of the politicians sit. I mean, this guy is really for the people. He's agreed to come and speak and kick off the rally. That's a huge feather in our cap. Some people have been bitching about it and saying, this can't be punk because you have an elected official in there, and it's just like, you know what? Punk is using what you have to throw a wrench into the works. And if you have someone in that stature and in that position that has the same views as you do on this certain person, then why not use it? Why not? Why say, we can't do that because he's a politician and that's not punk rock? Well, what is punk rock? Punk rock is an attitude, and it's an individual thing. I mean, somebody can bitch about the way they think that it's wrong to have this guy come and speak. That's fine. That's your opinion. We all have them. This thing is bigger than a punk rock uprising. This thing is everybody, all colors,
this is real life.
All people, all sizes and shapes. There's a lot of people that aren't happy about what's going on. So the first night is 4 bands and a rally. Kate McLeod's going to come and sing a song.
Looks like you guys got Magda Vega, Homo Leviticus, Highball Train, Way.
And Way, yes. Those are great bands to start off the first night. And the second night will be at the Underground. And it starts in the day. It's a matinee show that starts around 4.
That first one's at the Beehive Social Club, right?
Yes,
where
Beehive Social
Bartolux
Club.
used to be on 666 South and State.
666 South State. That's been a venue for so many years.
It was sad to see Bartolux go, but it's okay.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
doing something with it again.
Yeah, it was the Annex. Many, many years ago, it was a bar called the Annex, but it's changed over a lot.
So and then the Underground is the second show, and that's one with All Systems Fail, Sad State of Society, to name a couple of them.
There's 8 bands the second day. It's Punks Against Pence. It starts around 4:00. And it'll go probably till later, 9 o'clock at night, at least. Maybe a little later, but it is going to start early. And
At 4 p.m. show.
Yeah, and there's tons of bands. There's 8 bands, so and the Underground is a little more seedy. It's a little bit more
real.
Street.
It lives up to its name.
It's more real. It's a more street level kind of a place, and it's where the real people are gonna go and check this thing out. So. From 1980s till now, there hasn't been a lot of people just standing up and really bitching about what's going on and the leaders and stuff. But here's where I stand on it. I'm a punk rocker, so I haven't really been happy with any of the leaders that have been in office throughout all times that I've been old enough to know. I mean, anywhere there's that huge controlling force, they're going to do something that's not going to be cool. I mean, we're involved in wars and stuff, and we're involved with fighting all over the world and supplying arms and this and that and so many different things that are just not cool. But right now, I think as far as then and now, things have always been the same to me. It's not anything different. It's not like, oh, now we have to do something. It's always been that way for my kind of punk rock attitude.
Well, that's awesome. I really like hearing about all these shows that are happening right now. And because we're talking about punk rock so much, I'm going to listen to some more music. So
yeah.
I was listening to more Sad State of Society. This is Frack You. This is a track that you guys have sent me.
This one is about fracking. And
we got talking about oil field money coming into Utah and try to run over legislation and stuff. So I think it's a perfect song to play.
It's not like it's not right on our back door.
I've worked in the oil field. It's a part of our economy here. And when people don't really think about when you take place in a business like that and you get, in that business and you're making that money, what you're doing is you're basically signing your soul away, and you don't even realize it. You're just a number, an employee, a guy who can go out there and die, and you're a statistic on a workman's comp sheet.
Right.
So, with that, we'll just play this. This is Sad State of Society, Frack You. AMR.FM. Welcome back, AMR.FM. We have Al from Sad State of Society. That was the Frack You mix. Had to play it twice because I like it. Can't help it. I just like punk rock. It's good stuff.
They're short, too, so, you don't get bored. The song's over before you know it.
I know. That's the thing about punk rock. They're traditionally short songs.
Yeah, but I think our longest song is 2:40, and most of them are around a minute and a half.
A minute and a half?
Yeah.
That's good.
Say what you got to say and get it over with.
You're like, we have a full-length 22-song album, and it's over in 18 minutes.
One thing I do want to say is I want to put a shout out to Mike Sasich at Man vs. Music. He recorded that, and it came out really good. We really enjoyed working over there. It's not quite done. There's a couple of little mixing things. The mix is almost finished. We got one more session, and that's it. And then we'll be putting it out in some way or another. But releasing it here for free is fine with me. I want people to hear it, and I think this is a great way to do it. I really do. And I really appreciate you having me on, Brandon.
Anything that happens with music and people putting in the effort to provide a lot of people consider it a product. Oh, you put out an album, it's a product, you're going to sell it. I look at more of as an idea. When you put out an idea and you're planting seeds in people's brains and stuff, the object isn't to take their money and plant the seed. The object is to plant the seed and watch it grow.
Right.
And I feel like it's such a... you kind of know where I stand with some of this stuff. We've spoken in the past, but a lot of the artists that I've worked with here in Salt Lake, and there's been a bunch over the past few years, a lot of them kind of lose sight of why they're doing what they're doing as soon as they get a little taste of the money. As soon as they get a little bit of an income, they start getting paid, certain amounts for certain things. It's like they expect that every time now.
Right.
And they get that disconnect from the people who got them where they are, or the fan base that, bought all their merch or went to their shows, or... and when you get disconnected like that as an artist, it's impactful on your artistry. It's impactful on your family and your relationships and just the way you run your life and your other businesses or the way you do your job. It's really weird to see what happens to certain people in these instances. So,
right.
Punk rock is one of those situations where you don't see that happen very often.
No,
and that's kind of why I brought this up.
Yeah, so it's the music. It's the music. It's what it's about, and the message for sure. Getting it out there. I have had the opportunity to play with some cool bands through the years, and I just came back from Portland. I was on a trip up there. I went to play with Poison Idea, this band that I was in the late '80s, early '90s. Played on a Feel the Darkness record that they put out, and Jerry A, the singer, who's really the only original member left, but he's carried the band on throughout the years. They've been touring all over. So they went to Scandinavia last year and Australia. They've been all over the place. They have tons of records they put out on their own. And I was really happy because he asked me to come back and play with the band at a show that was documenting some of the members throughout time, the ones that he could gather, and there was 3 or 4 different blocks of songs during the set that were taken on by musicians from different periods along the way, and it was really cool. He asked me to come and be a part of it because they're putting out this documentary about the band, and it's the band's been together for 30 years, been on and off together for 30 years, and like I said, touring all over the place and stuff. And it's really pretty famous band as far as punk rock stuff goes. They were the self-proclaimed kings of punk for a while, the world's loudest drunks. This guitar player, Pig Champion, who's passed away now, they called him the 400-pound blackout. He was a big guy, really big guy. And it's great to see that those guys are still at it and still working and still playing. And just to be a part of that legacy was really cool for me. The Portland music scene is really cool, and they welcomed me in years ago, and it was the same this time when I went back. I just saw a lot of friends, and I was treated really well, and treated like one of their musicians in their scene, and their scene is major. There's a lot of signed bands. There are tons. There's a lot of music coming out of there. It's a hustling, bustling scene there, and it was really cool to be a part of it for sure.
Well, I've always liked Portland when it comes to the live music thing. I always like heading up towards Seattle and surrounding areas outside of Seattle. In fact, I'm based out of Seattle primarily 8 months out of the year, doing a lot of stuff for the concert series out there as a camera guy. So the chance that I get to go to, any chance I have to go to any type of local show of any kind, it's usually it's just super nostalgic to me. Like I'm a kid from late '80s. I grew up in the '90s. So it's like. I'm 30 years old now, and I feel fortunate enough to have been a part of some special scenes when it comes to watching hip-hop grow into what it did, rap culture grow into what it did, watching punk rock grow into something other than just a bunch of nonsense that it began as, and then, watching metal progress, watching alternative music progress, watching, my parents' music become oldies. Watching my music become oldies.
Right.
It's just the love for music and the love for the community and being able to find ways to give back to the community due to the fact that so many people in our community are involved with arts and culture and music and sustainability and empowering ourselves to do better with our lives. And I know you're all about sustainability, and I know you're all about punk rock, and I know you love radio, and I know you love music. Tell me how that kind of all blends together for you, and how it kind of runs your life or doesn't run your life.
It definitely is a way of life for me. The music part has always been, and the sustainability and the growing organic food. I think that's. You do that in the city, and I think that's really punk rock on its own. Urban farming, I think, is really punk rock on its own. You can grow a tomato that you have to buy at the health food store for $4 a pound, and you can grow it in your backyard, and it's going to be totally fresher than when you pick it and cut it open and eat it than one you bought even at that health food store that's ridden on a truck for a week and was picked not ripe. And then it's about carbon footprint too. It's you buy locally, you eat locally, you sustain the local community, and you don't have stuff traveling for miles on trucks and burning gas and making fumes in the air, and the carbon footprint is reduced immensely. I think this is a really big thing, and it's a no-brainer these days. I was asked a couple of years ago to do this punk rock farmer thing on KRCL 90.9 FM, and it's really kind of snowballed into something really great for me. Plus, it's given a lot of people information on what the master gardeners are doing. I've been able to hobnob with these people, and my garden has just taken off and gotten better and better. You have to grow food in your backyard. It's just something that I think everyone should be doing. It's for so many years before the wars, before the world wars and all that, was there anything but organic gardening? No. That's where people were growing and cooking what they ate in their regions, and dishes and recipes sprouted from that, and a whole cuisine and way of eating, and it was a no-brainer. There was nothing else. And why after supermarkets and all this kind of crap came along after the world wars and things got so convenient? Well, it's convenient, but it's killing the planet, and it's not. That's something that's always been an issue for punk rockers, and it should be for people all around the world alike. Unless you're walking through life with your eyes closed the whole time, then this is totally a no-brainer. I mean, this is something that we have to all be doing, and we're going to keep putting that message out there. There's a seed swap coming up.
Like heirloom seed type of swap?
Yeah. Yep. You can go and get free seeds. It's at the Sorensen Center. It's coming up in January, I believe. Damn, I don't have the date right on the tip of my tongue, but watch for stuff like that. And this thing is coming up. There's organic gardening classes coming up with Wasatch Community Gardens, beginning organics, stuff like that. Get in on the ground level. Talk to some of these people. They're totally willing to give you information and set you on your way to just eating healthier and better and reducing the carbon footprint. That's punk rock.
Yeah, I like that. Anything that take the money out of the man's pocket. That's all I got to say.
For sure. Boycott industrial agriculture, please.
Well, that's a thing. That's a thing. People just don't think too much. It's not about what car you drive at the end of the day. It's not about what you're throwing away in the trash can. It all starts with where you buy it and who you're giving your money. And I mean, you just gotta really think about what you're doing with the stuff that you work hard for, and what the impact it's going to have on your neighbors' lives, your children's lives, and your community in general. So, I mean, I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, and I do think it's necessary for people in your position of music and someone in your position in radio to actually take that responsibility serious and do the best you can to spread a wealth of information instead of a bunch of bullshit that we don't even need to be talking about. You know,
For sure.
I appreciate the hell out of that.
I appreciate being here. Thanks a lot for asking me to come on the show, and it's been great. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool, man. Thank you for taking the time. I know you guys just did a show recently down at Bar Named Sue down the street from here, and I tried to be there for that, and we just had so much going on here. I've been organizing so much. We're all, it's DIY radio here.
Right.
It's all just because we love doing this. I mean, no one here really makes any money.
I think it's badass.
But that's the whole point. We don't care. We're doing this because we all have the First Amendment, and we all need to utilize that. And if we don't, we lose it.
Right.
Right.
So
I want to play another track from Sad State of Society. This is Poison Yourself. And this is right here on AMR.FM. And you can check these guys out. Woo.